Welcome back to Mercury Farms for episode 13 with me, MrSealyp. We're back on Mercury and I've got a kind of, let's say a test, I suppose it's a test today. Field 40 is now complete, ready, sprayed, not sprayed, spread. And it's ready to go, so that's just going to be left now. The corn's going to grow, and like I said before, we're going to do a silage harvest. That just needed a bit of a brush up. We're going to do a little bit of forestry again today, but today's, like I say, it's going to be a bit of a test. That really does look insane on the back of that, doesn't it? Really high up. I do need to clean out the sheep again. No, the problem with this I had before was getting under here. Anyway, right. So I've already moved the John Deere tree harvester. That little lower. Yeah, I have to drag it across the floor a little bit. And detach. Marvellous. Right. That's already been moved, and I've moved that over to the forest, not over to the sawmill. Because I thought, a bit of change of scenery might be quite nice. We're going to try out the John Deere forwarder. Now, Ameribrit logging that I did the swap with on the tree harvesters did offer me a forwarder. But like I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lease a forwarder. I want to get better at using the cranes. Now, that might be quite painful to watch. So you won't have to watch all of it, believe me. Why don't that go in? There we go. Yeah, you won't have to watch all of that. I want to get better at using the log cranes. Plus, I am curious to see just how much the extended forwarder, the big bunk on the back, how much can it actually carry? And when it's full, how much will we get paid for a full load on it? So that's going to be the kind of test today. We're going to take that up to the forest. We're going to cut down some trees. First of all, we're going to check and see what we can get away with putting in the back. I don't know whether 8 metres is going to be too long. We'll have a bit of a fiddle around and yeah, we'll see how we get on. Right, that's the sheep sorted. Chickens are okay. There's a little bit of mess, but nothing horrendous. And our egg boxes seem to be coming out quite a rate now. That's good. So I'm going to take a wander over to the store. We'll lease a forwarder and we'll get over to the forest and we'll check that out. Often I cut these walks, when I'm walking from place to place I kind of cut it out and do a jump, and I thought, you know what, the weather's quite nice today. Let's enjoy the scenery. I suddenly panicked then. I saw this corner and thought, how can that field have already grown? That's because my field's there. This is the corner of this tiny little plot here. Oh, what has happened? I know I've got growth on fast, I think, but that's really fast. Right, the truck's here. That was because I did... Oh, yeah, I did a load of manure up at the BJ, didn't I? Before midnight last night. I think that's just where the trucks ended up. I drove it back here to pick something else up, and that was where it kind of ended up. I get to visit my lovely lady today. We are going to go in. So, what do I require? Forestry machines. Now, this is kind of one of those investment things. Because we're leasing it, we need to at least make back the leasing cost. 36 slots is heavy, isn't it? We're going to leave it on standard knock-ins. I think we're going to have it... Why wasn't that? Oh, there we go. Blade and grill removed. I think we're going to just have grill, no actually. No, we'll have it with blade just in case we need to move anything. And we are going to have it on 320 horsepower. Yeah, why not? How much is that? 17,697 to lease. So thank you very much. Yeah, not cheap. But like I say, with the extended bunk, I really am curious to see how much we can get in that. And I do want to get better at using these cranes. And I know they're not fantastic, and I know they don't grab particularly well, but I think a lot of times it's because I've grabbed the logs in the wrong place. I've tried to grab two large ones or more than two, and they jostle around a little bit. Even if it means I've just got to do one log at a time, we'll sort of see how we get on. That's the plan. Okay, let's jump in. It's unusual not having a dashboard. I love the fact you've got the pedal movement and you accelerate and brake and stuff. I think that's really cool. Oh, that's a bit of a blind spot. Crikey, that's worrying. Can't see either way. This is where you need VR. You can lean forward and have a look then. Blimey, that is bad, isn't it? No, it really didn't help very much, did it? Right. Let's go. Cruise control on. Up past hillside. And let's see what happens. I'm kind of in a little bit more of a relaxed mode today. The craziness on Marwell Manor of all the subscriber contracts and running multiple jobs at the same time, and always in the back of your mind thinking about how one job you're doing will affect another job and how many jobs, you know, can you do multiple contracts from doing one job, you know, that kind of thing. It becomes a real jigsaw puzzle, and I love that. I love the whole, you know, trying to solve that as a puzzle and a problem, you know, and get through all the contracts. I love that whole concept and the whole process. But there's something nice about every now and again just going off and doing something quite straightforward, you know. I know I often bounce around in an episode and get multiple jobs done, but sometimes just spending an episode doing a field or doing one job, or, you know, it's quite relaxing. Just out in the clearing we cleared before. Although, to be fair, I'm going to need to bring the stump grinder up, so I'm going to be cutting a load of trees down. We are going to need to clear the stumps out through that dip. Okie dokie. Right then. So, the question then is, open the bunk. And that is huge, isn't it? Maybe cut down a 7, or cut one tree down, cut one 7 metre length and try and load it. And if that's, oh, I've still got some small bits on the floor over there. And then kind of go from there, really. The best bit, isn't it? Spin that round. Am I going to operate it from inside? That's the question. Let's get that crane up and down, side to side. Might be a little bit trickier from here. I love the fact that we found that used for 23. And the red button on the side panel. Okay, right. let's turn that off and jump out. Curiouser and curiouser. Let's jump in this. Start it up. And let's have a look inside. What we set on? 8. Let's do a 7. Here we go. Head open. There we go. Let's find a tree. It's quite hard to see. I assume I'm in line. Wasn't far enough over. Lift that up. So that's a 7. That doesn't actually seem too long, does it? Well, all we can do is test. I shouldn't have turned the engine off. Oh, I didn't realise how close I was to that. That could explain why I was struggling. Okie dokie then. Let's start this up. Actually, 7s might be right, mightn't they? We might get away with an 8. Now I know I will have all different people telling me all different ways I should be lined up and loading, and you know, that's great. Let's try it with that, shall we? Oop, over the top. So it's central. I'm trying to see where the actual now. Okay. Haven't hit the back of the bunk yet, have I? Okay, let's try that. Right, that could have done with coming a little bit further back. I wasn't quite at the back of the bunk. Actually, even the 7, that really does overhang quite a lot, doesn't it? We'll try 7s, we might get away with it. Okay, let's swing that round. Grab it down if I can. Where's what I'm going to grab? Something better? A little bit. It is by no means perfect, but then nor am I. Okay, that's sat a little bit better, isn't it? So what I'll do, I think, if I put a strap there, just to hold that in place. Yeah, I'll be honest, once you start getting more stuff on there, especially when you start doing thick to thin, thin to thick, if you put the thick end here, all the weight's going to be here, they're going to tip back. If you stick 8 metre ones on there and add a little bit more on there, you find your centre of gravity shifts, and anything over this pivot point here, or realistically here-ish, I guess, if the weight's heavier there, it tips and you're going to lose it off the back. So we're going to stick with 7s. We'll see how we get on. Let's try and fill this bunk up, and then hopefully I'll be a little bit better at it by the end. That's what I'm hoping for. So what I'm going to do now is cut a load of trees down at 7s, and let's get loading, I think. Yeah. So what I am going to do though, because I'm trying to remember, it was tilting the head of the left stick, wasn't it? That's what I recall. There we go. That's better. Doesn't help that it's closed. Weird. Oh, that just automatically picked up. But it's not giving me the option to cut though. Okay, let's try that again. Cool. Right. 7s. We are good. Let's get rock and rolling. Now, admittedly, I mean, like I say, I'm no logger, but I'm pretty sure. Put that back. And swing that around again. That these would all be put into a massive pile that the forwarder can then come to and just keep loading from that pile. So you'd have these cutting them down, either moving them or dropping them, skidders moving them to a pile or by the roadside because you can't get the heavier vehicles and trucks and stuff in. That's where the forwarder comes in. But I wouldn't have thought you'd be moving the forwarder around from pile to pile. Whether they bring the piles out, then the forwarder goes to that. I'm not too sure actually. It's an interesting one. I know the guys that made is it North Modding Company that made these mods, they know a lot about logging. That much I do know, because they kind of left a few comments on my videos when I did the mod reviews of these and of the Komatsu forwarder, and I said on the video that I wasn't sure whether or not it was supposed to brake as violently as it, or not even brake, but when you took your foot off the accelerator, and they said that actually in real life that's exactly what they're like. Very high torque. They do slow down when turning because they've got hydrostatic transmissions, something like that. Like I say, I am absolutely no expert on real life logging at all. I really don't know. Swing that out. Let's get some 7s. Right. So what I'll do now is probably off screen cut a load more down. You've seen me cutting trees down before. I do like this tree harvester. It's really cool. I mean, to be fair, they all do the same job at the end of the day. The Komatsu, the ponds, and this tree harvesters cut down trees. Like I said before, it's about trying something different, using a bit of different machinery you haven't used before. I know somebody did comment and say, why is it all YouTubers seem to be obsessed with John Deere stuff? The Komatsu stuff is new to game in 19, but I've used it a few times, and that's the thing, when the new stuff comes out, YouTubers want to showcase the new stuff. They, you know, they want to use the new stuff and play with it as much as anyone does, really, I guess. At the end of the day, we're putting out videos, but we're gamers. We're just, you know, curious to see how it operates, how it works. You know, does it have any quirks or differences to the other ones? And then you kind of find from doing that, by using all different bits of machinery, the ones you like the most. What is your preference? What do you like to use more? Then as you progress through playing the game, you'll find as you do new maps, you will automatically go towards different bits of machinery because they're the ones you have decided work better, operate better, you have a better feel for them. I know that's, you know, teaching granny to suck eggs, you know, yeah, that's kind of a given. People know that, don't they, already? But I'm just saying. Actually, what I might do then is try. Let's go thick to thin. I mean, I know I can turn these logs around using the grapple, but probably easier if I just pull up. Oh, I need to be closer than that. I'm struggling with this. It's because it's reversed, because I'm driving the cab the other way. Okay, let's try that, shall we? Okie dokie. So I did not grab that, I probably had told it. Just going to drop that. Yep, that was a mistake. Right, have to adjust, I think. Like I said, this is me learning how to use these. Or I say learning how to use them. Learning how to use them for my own benefit, not, you know... I'm going to be no expert, let's be honest. When you see actual crane operators using these, the speed they use them, probably the perspective's off a little bit as well. Right, let's try that again. Grab it, there we go, that's better. What the... My arm sensitivity is not that high. Why is it doing that? Let's bring it around that way. Yeah, and that's where I'm in trouble here. Because that's not... So it's opening up. Oh, that's ugly. That's ugly. I can move it over a little bit. Nope. To say this may take some time is going to be the biggest understatement ever. Okay, right. Practice. That's what's needed. Okay. That was a huge mistake there. So let's see if I can... So where are we at? We're doing alright, although I think having so much overhanging at the back is putting way too much weight. So what I'm going to try and do is all do thick to thin for the rest of this now, have thick this end and thin that end, so all the weight then comes more over the centre, because at the moment, although it's still quite a lot of the weight there, there's a lot of weight overhanging the back. So would I do 7s again? Probably not. I'd probably do 6s, which would put me probably about here, which would probably be a little bit better. We'll see how we go. I mean, we're going to fill it up. There's a lot on here. How that's going to drive when we go between, because at the moment when I'm turning on grass, the cab's doing this horrible twisting thing where I think the articulated section is not liking the fact there's so much weight. But that was the point of the test, really, to see, you know, what's the best way of doing it, how does it hold up, you know, all those kind of things. Am I getting better with the grain? I am, but not when I'm talking. I've tried to film this bit about 4 times now, and every time I try and talk and do the logging at the same time, it goes horribly wrong. I don't know why I just went in that way, because I want thick to thin. So I mean, I can, like I say, I can turn each of these logs round. Reversing, it doesn't like. And I don't know how we're going to get on hills. So I say, much as it does, the bunk on the back of this holds a huge amount. I may have overstretched it a little bit. So, like I say, I have improved, not, you know, not dramatically, but, well, I don't know, I suppose, yeah, for me personally, I feel I have. And it's all about that just finesse with the controls, I think. If you put the crane too far to the ground, it doesn't like it, because that log's just rolled back, which I didn't want it to do. Need that out of the way, but anyway. So if I try and close that now, part of that grapple's not on the floor, so if I drop it down a little bit more and then try and close it, it should, there we go, grip around the log a bit better. If you go too close to the floor, it tends to not grip them, and you get this spring effect where when you lift the log up, it kind of bounces out of the ground up into the grapple. What I have noticed with the cranes though is the logs, you can probably see it, slip through the crane. Doesn't matter how level you've got it, it just seems to do it all the time. That said, I am kind of, let's open it up, we're getting a little bit better, a little bit quicker. I am reattaching the straps every single time I do it, just to make sure I get it all on there nice and quickly and I don't have any problems with tipping. And also, the biggest thing with these cranes is getting the centre of gravity right. The log you're going for, look at the size of it, look at where it's thick, where it's thin. If you grab every single one right in the middle, it doesn't work. Because obviously, if you've got a thicker part one end and thinner the other, it's heavier one end than the other. So if you stick it right in the middle, it's going to be unbalanced. So it's about getting all those little quirks just right. If you get in the right place, you get the centre of gravity right, the log's a lot easier to control. 2 at a time can be a little bit trickier. It depends on the logs, and it depends on the size, and it depends if they're perfectly lined up. And you know, if you've done a lot of logging, you'll know all these things already. But it's just, like I say, for me, it was about getting better at this crane and understanding the kind of idiosyncrasies of how to get it to operate well. That's probably, twist that a little bit, about right. Open up. To the point now where I'm actually able, rather than just picking up logs, plonking them in and hoping they go where I want them to do, I'm getting more precise placement. So I've had some gaps, probably a little bit too close there, aren't I? I've had some gaps where I thought, oh, you know, a certain size log or a certain size would fit perfectly in there, and then in doing that, it has actually gone on perfectly. So, there we go, we got it. I think I might have my crane arm sensitivity a little bit too high, maybe. The arm sensitivity, because sometimes it does go a little bit. Anyway, let's get over that way a little bit. Trying to load evenly if I can. But again, it doesn't matter. You might just decide when you're doing it, you just want to plonk stuff down, get it up on there as quickly as possible. So, no, that's overhanging a little bit off the back, but not the end of the world. So like I say, I'm getting there. I'm getting a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit faster. I'm understanding what I need to be doing with this crane. Now, is it quicker to use the manure fork on a telehandler? Is it quicker to use a wheel loader? Is it quicker to use the ramp and bag lifter? You know, you could say yes to all of those. Again, it comes down to what you're used to. If you're used to doing this, or you're getting better at doing this, I would suggest each one has its own merits, and each one can be as efficient as the operator. So the better you get at it, the more efficient you become, the quicker it is. So yeah, at the moment I would be far quicker using a bag lifter. I'll be far quicker using a telehandler, but the better you get at it, the better you'll get, the faster you get, and in doing so you make that particular piece of equipment far more efficient. So it just comes down to practice at the end of the day. You know, I'm not getting it right every single time, but I am getting there. Now I've got to work out, because these, I keep calling them tines. I know on the back it's a bunk, and these bits up the side here have probably got a very specific name, and I'm sure a couple of people commented and told me what that was, and I can't for the life of me remember. So I've got a little bit of room there probably for another log up, and then it'll be a case of in the centre section kind of piling up a little bit there. So I'm going to be able to get a load more on, and I've cut down quite a few trees. A lot of the other trailers I think will take sort of 4 or 5 trees worth. I think I'm up to about 12 or 13, might be more than that, trees cut down. Let's have a look what we're up to so far. 14 trees. So 14 trees, that's including this one on the ground, I've cut down so far. So that's holding 14 trees worth of lumber. But again, I don't know, oh no, sorry, 13, I forgot that one there. How well that's going to go off to the store, I really don't know. So I am going to carry on. I am going to try and fill this up. Probably going to overload it. Probably putting way too much on here. They're probably way too long. But it's a test. A test of me, a test of the machinery. You know, all of those great things. Well, not that I'm great, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Let's see if I can get that crane to close a little bit. So I'll grab that. Not quite. Just drop it down a little bit further. Come on. Grab that log. There we go. Got it. Sometimes it's not pretty, but then it doesn't need to be. Let's be honest, you know, most people when you're playing, unless you're a professional logger and you're doing this in your spare time, which I don't know why you would be. If you do it for real, why would you play it? But you know, there probably are. Or you might have had a dabble, you might have done it years ago, or you're probably incredibly good at it. But I reckon most people are going to just have a go, get the logs on, do their best and be happy with it, you know. And I'm happy at the progress I've made already. There we go, straps sorted. So, like I say, I'm going to continue. Hopefully I'll see you when this is full, and then we'll get it over and we'll get it sold and we'll see what we make. Hopefully it'll be a nice payday. And then we've got to look at time taken versus how much we've made versus, you know, leasing costs and price and, you know, all those kind of things will all play a part, because if you're going to be doing logging, you want to do as much logging as you can as quickly as you can to make as much money as you can. So I haven't gripped that in the right place. That much is now glaringly obvious. So as far as how much does this carry, I probably could have gone even higher still. I could have made more of a mound in the middle. But I'm really concerned now how much weight is over the back axle. And like I said before, you look at where the straps are, the 3 straps stop there. None of that is strapped, it's all overhanging. So what I'm going to try and do now is drive this to the sawmill. Now I can't turn too tightly, because if I do, it does this horrible thing where it all lifts off the ground. Like that. Reversing is pretty much a no-no. If I take my time though, providing I don't roll over, we should be alright. Oh dearie me, I've got to remember the way in. There we go, there's the track just over here. This thing has got some serious grunt to it, I tell you. As to how much we're going to make, I wouldn't like to say. It could end up only being like 50 grand, or you know, in which case I was getting 40 for a normal load. But I don't know, I honestly don't know. We'll see what happens when we get there, if we get there. Oh, this is all over the shop. Take your time. I saw a video online actually of one of these. It wasn't a John Deere one necessarily, but it was a folder, and it was bringing logs out, and the mud was so deep it was up past the axles. You could barely even see the tyres, and it just kept on going. It just chugged its way out. Incredible bits of kit. Let's give it some beans. Okay, 13. But so it begs the question, like I said before, about your skill and ability with it. Because if you find the cranes are really difficult to operate and you want a big bed to put your logs in, and you decide I'm going to use, like I said, you might use a telehandler or a wheel loader, or you know, a ramp with the straps system. In essence then, by doing that, you're turning the forwarder into a really expensive trailer. I mean, at the end of the day, it's self-propelled, I suppose. If you had a normal trailer, you would have to have a tractor or a truck and the trailer. Which way should I go? Down through the farm, probably the best bet. So I suppose there is some argument to say, well, you'd have to buy a lorry, you'd have to buy the trailer, you'd have to buy whatever you're going to load it up with, because obviously you wouldn't have a crane or whatever. When you add all that up together, does it come to the price of a forwarder? Well, this one is, what, 320 grand, is it? It's quite pricey in the forwarders, actually. But it has got the rather large bed. So, but again, then, if you're not going to use it, it's just an expensive self-propelled trailer. I think with a bit of practice, and the more you do it, the same as using the cranes and anything else, you can get pretty quick at loading this up. And like I say, what I might do off screen is have a go at doing this with 6 metre lengths rather than 7s, because I reckon that will make it a lot less unwieldy. That being said, it's driving. It's not, the wheels aren't off the ground, it's not struggling. You know, I'm managing to do turns, not tight turns. Going up the hill towards the sawmill, that might be a bit of a tricky proposition. We'll see how we get on with that. But it's pulling it, you know. Now, admittedly, with a massive load bed like this, because this does have a trail hitch, doesn't it? If you hook one of the forwarder trailers on the back of this as well, and you stuck 6s on this and the load, again, you're then doubling the capacity without the need of a lorry. So, you know, there are options. Anyway, all that being said, I'll see you in a moment when I'm going up the hill towards the sawmill, see how we get on there. And then see what we get for this load. So like I say, I'm looking at the back of it. I could have probably got more on this. I was worried about how well it was going to drive, and as it's turned out, better than I thought. So I probably could have got another couple of trees worth. I think I'm up to 16 now. What are we up money wise? 158. So I got hit with a second hour of lease, which is not great. What was I on 191 at the start of the episode? So I've got to make enough money to go past 191,000 for this to have been viable. Unless of course you buy one, in which case if you own it, it doesn't matter, does it? Hopefully I can get through all of the rubbish that I've left laying around. Yep, we're through. That did the hill. It slowed down, but no problems at all. And now the moment of truth. Right, straps off. Nope. Right, so let me do the straps. Come on. Should have just done one from the cab, it would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? There we go. Let's see. I need to go past 191. Come on. Okay. There's still a load on there as well. I don't want to jump up on there and then fall on me. There we go. So, what up to 213, 225 grand. So we covered the leasing costs and we went up another 34,000 on top of covering all the leasing costs. So I guess after that initial leasing cost, the hourly rate, if you get quicker at using the crane, you can get more loads done per hour. It's actually, you know what? That's not bad at all. I am not a skilled operator, but that wasn't a bad payday. I'm more than happy with that. That's pretty much double what a normal load would be. Good load bed, good capacity. What a bit of kit. I am going to do a load with, I think, with 6 metres. Let's drop that right down now. And what I might even do is, I'm going to leave the trailer. I might grab one of the trailers and load that as well. So do the wide bed, full load, and I'll do that off screen. That'll be maybe the start of the next episode. That'll pop up with what I did on that. Maybe I suppose the one that's designed to go on it. We'll see if it hooks up to it first. It should do. There we go. So 6 is on that. Maybe 6 is 7's on that. Stick a full load on this lot together and see what we get from that. And with that, it's maybe a slightly shorter episode, but it was because I just wanted to do this. I say relaxing. I said at the start of the episode it was supposed to be relaxing. Was it? Maybe not at times. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.